Ladies and gentlemen of the living and the dead, my name is Ariastra, and I'm your friendly neighborhood Copernicomancer who fears all things horror. Happy Monday! Happy Monday! Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. It is the start of a new week. It is the start of a new week. Let's see, anime fan. Hi, I hope that you're doing really well. It's a Monday. I've been feeling dehydrated. No! Time to get some electrolytes in. Hope they're able to have a really good time solving mysteries. I'm not the best at finding clues. Unless I'm watching something like Blue's Clues. I see. Blue's Clues, man. What a trip down memory lane. Blue's was a good detective, unlike me. Hello, Shadowblade. How's it going? Hey, girl. Sup? Welcome in. Welcome in. Hope you had a great Monday. Or Tuesday, I don't know. I'm assuming Monday. I'm ready for you to become a great detective like Sherlock Holmes, Batman, host of Blue's Clues. Oh. That is far too much faith. That is far too much faith. But thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And welcome in, everybody. It's Monday. Hello, Chris King. We have concentrated grape Gatorade at work. It's addictive. Oh my. I haven't had Gatorade in like, you think I'm kidding, but I'm not. Like, in no joke, years. I can't even remember when the last time I had Gatorade is. Probably when I was in college, which is a long, long time ago. I didn't know they had grape Gatorade though. Only colors I remember Gatorade being is like blue and red. And I don't even know what flavor those are, like raspberry or something. I don't even know. Grape Gatorade though. Sounds yum. Alright. Today we're playing Little Locked Room. What do I know about this game? Close to nothing. As usual. Nothing new. Nothing new. It's supposed to be a short little cozy game where you solve some form of mystery inside a house. I don't know much about it, like most of the games that I play, because, you know, knowing about the games you play is for people who know how to play games. Aren't you some mysteries when you play Danganronpa? Danganronpa is a different type of mystery game. Danganronpa is the type of mystery game that's more... You can't really get things wrong in Danganronpa. Because if you can't find what you need, you can't move forward. Yeah, Danganronpa is a mystery game, and it is like a murder mystery, but... like, it's more a visual novel than it is a mystery. I don't know if that makes sense. There's more theorizing than actually crime solving. Sometimes the crime don't make sense. Still believe in me? Oh, thank you. Alright, so this is supposed to be a short little cozy game based around like a model house that you find. So, let's get into it. We believe in you. Oh, thank you, Chris King. You guys are so kind. You guys are so kind. Alright, chapter 1, Tracks in the Snow. Here we go. Let's see what's going on in this one. Following is a true story that occurred a few years back. On a cold winter day, an infamous thief managed to steal a jewel of remarkable value. As he made his escape, however, he made a blunder. A witness caught a glimpse of him fleeing in a red truck. The police promptly answered the call and gave chase. After a few hours of driving down the road, they found the truck they were after. However, when they took a peek inside, they realized the driver had already exited the vehicle. Set of footprints went from the vehicle into a small cabin. The police naturally checked inside. But alas, the thief wasn't there either. Yet there were no traces of anyone having left the cabin. The criminal had vanished into thin air. And that's how the mystery goes. What do you think, kiddos? Think you can crack it? Yeah, Dad, it looks easy. I'll solve it in a minute tops. Time me. Oh. Okay. It's a mysterious case indeed, but no matter, the great Sherry Holmes is on the scene. Oh. Why are you here again? To solve the case, duh. Come on, Bo, you'll be my sidekick. I'll look in the cabin, you'll look inside the truck. Dad, she's just messing around. It's fine, isn't it? Take a good look at the diorama, you two. There's some important clues lying around. Okay. Welcome to Little Locked Rooms. On the screen, you'll be able to inspect a diorama that represents the mystery. Rotate the diorama by clicking and dragging with your left mouse button. Click on interesting objects to zoom in on them. At the bottom left, you'll find cards with other important information. Once you think you've cracked the case, click the bar at the bottom right to check your solution. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. Oh, this may or may not give me motion sickness. Take a look at the footprints. I don't really get it. This is the cabin. Here are the footprints. Well, it's interesting that there's no snow on the stairs. Okay. I love miniatures. I do think they're cool how they're made. Here's the truck. There's one tire in the background, in the back, when there should be two. Here's some tire tracks. Okay. I don't really get it. Okay, this is just a cabin. And there's windows. Huh? I don't really get this. Alright, objective. A criminal entered a cabin, seemingly vanished inside. Find out how he did it. The diorama shows the state of the cabin when the police arrived. The police found an abandoned truck. A trail of footprint led into the cabin. The cabin was completely empty. The thief has somehow disappeared. Evidence shows that the criminal went inside the cabin 30 minutes before the police arrived. There are no secret footprints hidden in the unmarked snow. Okay. This is the road. I'm a little bit confused, but it's the row. There's the truck. So he got out this way. Trucking in here. I'm a little bit confused how this game is played. Like, can I open up the cabin and take a look inside, or is that not an option? Okay, this is just... some important clues lying around. Okay. Is a tire missing? I'm assuming that's a clue. I don't really get this. Like there's tire, truck, footprints that led into the cabin. So the question is, how did the thief leave without leaving any footprints behind? It has something to do with tire. Okay, I just clicked how I was the solution because I'm really confused how to play this game. I got it. Me too. I actually need the answer from the star. I was just waiting for Bo. Okay, they're both ahead of me. I'm guessing it has something to do with. Oh, I'm guessing it has something to do with tire. Maybe they took the tire on the top and slid off it or something. I'm not sure. But they jumped over. Let's be organized about this. Throwing out theories to see if they stick is for amateurs. Oh, we're all real detectives here. Okay. And a real detective asks the right question at the right moment. So let's start nice and easy from the top. We know for certain the thief entered the cabin. Wait, what? But the police didn't find them when they arrived. How could that happen? Did the thief really vanish? Maybe they never left. It's just a trick. That's what you want us to figure out. Now, logic is cheating, but yeah, people don't just vanish. The thief was simply clever in how he escaped. Which leads us to our first question. How did he do it? Okay. This is the first in a series of questions the game will ask you. If you want to review the clues before answering, you can always click the arrow at the top of the right to momentarily go back to the investigation mode. You can also ask for hints using the bottom left. I see! Okay. I'm assuming they jumped. Do what? The road and trucks are too far away. Maybe he climbed onto the roof, that way he could jump really far. It's easier said than done. You think he climbed up through the chimney? Santa can do it? I'll give you a freebie on criminals and Santa. It'd be pretty dangerous if not impossible for your average Joe to climb up a chimney. Did he actually escape? The assumption is because they searched the cabin thoroughly that the thief escaped. I think. I think the assumption is the police thoroughly searched the cabin and couldn't find the criminal. It'd be pretty dangerous if not possible for your average Joe to climb up a chimney. Think it over for a bit. There's a simpler method of getting out which would do the trick. Oh, I lost 5 points! My thing is like, why is the assumption that the criminal went inside the cabin? Can't you just walk backwards? You just walked out. Like, you just walk backwards, making sure your feet overlap with the footprint, and then he can just... I would just walk out using the tire track. Thing is, though, there's no footprint leading up the cabin. How to explain that? You just... Because of where he walked. How did the thief walk out of the cabin without leaving footprint behind? Because of where he walked. Where did he walk over? His own footprints! The backwards, man. Yeah, like it would make sense just to go backwards and then just walk over your tire tracks. He walked backwards over his footprints. He masked his exit with his own footprints. Now, following this logic, where would the thief arrive by backtracking through his steps? The truck. Correct, the footprints will lead back to the truck, so we still haven't fully explained how the escape occurred. And so made this next, how did the thief manage to escape once he reached the truck? I'm assuming the game is going with the fact that he used one of the tires to escape. There's a tire missing. This can only mean one thing. He rode the tire like a unicycle. He rode it behind him. I was rolling it behind him, even me. Can you figure that out? Explain to your sister what you mean. They walk backwards from the cabin and then hop into the back of the truck. That's when he unhooked one of his spare tires. And the next thing he did was walk through the tire tracks until he got to the road. He used the tire behind him. As he walked, he rolled the tire behind him, leaving only tire tracks. It's kind of boring. My idea is better. You know what? I agree. Sherry, I agree. Riding the tire like a unicycle was a better idea. This version makes the most sense. All right. I'm understanding how the game is played now. Absolutely, your brother's right, Sherry. His version makes the most sense. So I can't deny either possibility, so you both get a passing mark. Oh, thank you. Anyway, good work. Let's do a quick recap. After the burglary, the thief was on the run. His plan was most likely to lay low in his cabin. However, this changed when he realized the police was on his tail. That's when he thought of a little trick. He parked the truck near his cabin and walked inside. Then he returned to the truck by retracing his footsteps in the snow. Finally, he walked through the tire tracks, making sure to erase his footprint with his spare tire. After that, he was free to flee the scene, and he got what he wanted. The officers were very confused when they arrived. Assuming he misled them to search the cabin to buy himself more time. They ran a search party, but they looked in the wrong places, and so the thief simply vanished. It's time for real. Mystery solved. I got an A for amazing. I thought it was cookies on the chimney. That would have been a funnier ending. Would have been a funnier ending. They got away because he took too long, Bo. What are you talking about? I'm the one who actually solved it. Dad says my idea still counts, but mine is better, right? Everyone wins! Wow, so diplomatic. Come on, let's pack it up and go downstairs. I'm starving. Alright, we solved the mystery of the tracks in the snow. How many mysteries are there? There's not that many. There's not that many. There's only 6 puzzles. Oh, this might be a short one today, guys. I say that, but watch me get stuck on one puzzle for like 3 hours straight. Watch me get stuck on one puzzle for 3 hours straight. Alright, let's play chapter 2. Perfect escape. So it has 2 stars difficulty. Okay, are we all ready? No. Dad already sold this one, didn't I? Was something wrong with what I said? No, it's fine. You kiddos crushed it. This is just a little encore. Remember from the other night, the mystery was about a thief who seemed to disappear inside a cabin. And the solution was that the thief walked in reverse over his own footprints. That's fine and all if you don't look too close, that is. In reality, slapping perfectly into your footprint is not that easy. Shoes have intricate patterns on their soles, so being even a bit off while backtracking would leave marks. Marks that an observant officer will be able to find. That's what I want you to figure out. You're gonna find a way to leave the cabin without leaving any marks. Why do you want to know that, Daddy? Going to steal something? You know what? That would be the twist. Yes, Daddy needs a new drill set. Don't do it. If you do, I'm gonna catch you. Don't be stupid, Shave. Dad committed a crime. He would 100% get away with it. Okay, I know that you mean well, cheap, but maybe don't phrase it like that. At any rate, the rest of the escape can be done using the ties we talked about last time. Your assignment is simply to figure out how the thief could escape from the cabin. Now get to it, detectives. Alright, there's some wood logs this time, and there's an axe. Cabin. Bucket. They've added a bucket and some wood logs and an axe. Okay. Those are the new information that we have received. Here's the truck. Okay. So they say the going this way with the truck tire is still acceptable. But the backtracking through the snow is not. Okay. Got an empty bucket here, some wood logs here, and an axe. I have no idea what's going on. Objective: find how the thief manages to exit from the cabin without stepping over any prints. The diorama shows the state of the cabin when the police arrived. Police found an abandoned truck, a trail of footprint led into a cabin. The cabin was completely empty. The thief had somehow disappeared. Okay, evidence shows that the criminal went inside the cabin 30 minutes before the police arrived. There are no secret footprints hidden in the unmarked snow, and then now they've added another fact. The footprints have no imperfections, so it's not possible that the criminal walked over their steps. There's a bucket there. The wood logs here. There's also no footprints to the bucket and the wood log. Bo has an idea! Let's hear it. Alright. How did the thief walk out of the cabin without stepping over his own footprints? He used something! The wood logs! What did the thief do with them? Burn them over. I was thinking using them more like stilts. Alright, let's go with the bucket. I was thinking he used them more like stilts. Maybe that wouldn't work. I guess he could have used the bucket to clean away any prints as he's walking. Now smush the snow back in place. This bucket seems suspicious. My detective senses are tingling. What if it has snow and the thief filled up footprints before going backward? Perfectly filling out the footprints doesn't seem possible to me. It also contradicts what I said last night about there not being any hidden prints in unmarked snow. As much as I like the idea, it's not our answer. Oh, interesting. Alright, let's use a hint. Once you make footprints of fresh snow, there are many ways trying to conceal them, but none of them perfect. Think of how to avoid making them in the first place. They've climbed out one of the windows? Now, this game is much harder than I thought. We might be here for a while. The length of the steps. Oh, I see where they're going with this. So he made long steps first. And then when he went backwards, he put footprints in between his... I see! I see. Okay. This is some very out-of-the-box thinking that I don't have. You make long steps and then fill it with short steps in between the steps. Okay. You actually got it. I guess it wasn't that hard then. Wow. Boza. Both a little salty. That's why the footprints are closer this time so the bad guy doesn't have to jump too far. I just am a little, I'm surprised you even noticed. I did not notice. Got lucky because you noticed the footprints were different. I did not notice. You didn't see that? Why not? I just didn't, so what? It's kind of weird seeing something a detective would notice. Damn. So that's the trick, guys. In truth, the police were too busy searching for the thief to investigate the footprints in much detail. But the criminal could have left footprints behind that looked normal no matter how close anyone inspected. Goes to show you how many tricks criminals have at their disposal. My mind went way out there thinking... I'm thinking he threw water over the eyes and slipped away. I thought maybe he, like, erased his footprint with, like, mushed it into snow. But I guess the game didn't like that. It's saying that it's almost impossible to erase his footprints using whatever. Hey Muta, how's it going? This game is very hard for me. Thinking up ways to solve crime. You like this game? It's cute though. Fortunately for them, a good detective is ready for all of them. Alright, mystery solved. Got a C, but that's okay. C's get degrees. We did it. Can we do one more? Give me a break. Your mom and I need some time to make another one. I think I know what case we'll do next. We'll be going back in time a bit. About 100 years ago? I see. We're going back 100 years? That sounds horrifying. Oh, go downstairs for ice cream? I want ice cream! Can we go back and redo them so I can get a perfect score? I want a perfect score. I want a perfect score. I may have said C's get degrees, but I want to be an A+ student. Even if I have to cheat. Speedrun! Speedrun for A+. I'm also curious at what the highest score you can possibly, like, is A+ the highest? Okay. Alright, this should be a full mark. And then he uses tires to escape. This is cute though. I like this game. It's hard though, because my brain's not smart enough for it. This is real detective work. No one's holding my hand. Makes it difficult because I'm baby. Alright, I want to see what happens when you get full marks. As for superb, I guess we'll find out. I'm curious what happens when you get full mark. So I don't know if there's like an achievement for getting full marks. S for perfect! I think S for superb works a little bit better. But that works either way. Alright, let's also get a perfect score and perfect escape since I only got a C. Even if C's get degrees. I still want to get an S. Okay, so... how he walked. The length of the steps. Okay. Oh, Sherry's eyes really lit up when she got him right. Alright. So this is like an add-on. Ooh, I'm a genius! Alright, going back 100 years now. After some ice cream. I want ice cream! I have some butter pecan in my fridge, actually. Butter pecan ice cream. Sounds like it would be a good time. Alright. I'm gonna get some butter pecan ice cream after this game. The game has inspired me. The Last Dance. Difficulty is 2 stars. Let's play and see what it's like. It was opening night at the Narrowway Theater. A delightful ballet show was about to begin. All the seats were full and the audience waited with bated breath. The stage lit up, revealing a single dancer standing gracefully at its center. A beautiful symphony filled the air and the ballerina began a mesmerizing solo performance. She waltzed, twirled, and soared across the stage, captivating everyone present. As the orchestra swelled to a climax, she started executing a sequence of flawless pirouettes without skipping a beat. She turned and turned like a spinning top as the music grew more intense, until suddenly a loud explosion echoed inside the theater, followed by another. The ballerina's spinning came to a halt. As the music continued, she placed her hand over her chest where a small splotch of blood was beginning to spread. Oh, this is a murder? Afterwards, she collapsed to the ground. Crew members rushed into the stage in a panic. The spectators were frozen still, praying it was all part of the act, but it wasn't. Only a few minutes later, La Ballerina passed away. Even after all the lights were turned on, the assailant was nowhere to be found. When the police arrived, they began their questioning. Several staff members outside the auditorium confirmed no one had left since the shots were fired. The spectators testified they were all seated when the shots rang out. Several audience members turned around, but nobody saw anyone suspicious that could have been the shooter. They also gave conflicting statements when asked where the sound came from. As the theater was being searched, the staff members screamed they found something beneath one of the seats. Police looked under and found a gun, one with precisely 2 bullets fired. In the confused crowd, someone flashed a smirk. The murderer was among them, invisible. Alright, it's a murder mystery! The ballerina has gone bye-bye. Slow theater is so cute. I agree, Sherry. Not too shabby if I say so myself. It reminds me of when we went to see Little Ladies. Should have been there, but it was just like this. You weren't there, were you, buddy? Why not? It was girly stuff? Rude. But it was nice, right, baby? The choreography and everything. On point. Daddy fell asleep! Sure, calling out her father just like that. Good thing you were there to wake me up for the good bits. But you missed the funny part. Anyway, Dad, was this a real murder? Yeah, it was, although it happened a long time ago. So if I solve it, does it count as solving a real murder? Hold your horses, Chief. You're getting ahead of yourself. Let's solve a couple hundred of these before we even think about that, alright? 200. Alright, deal. And after that, you take me with you to a real crime scene. Sure, why not? Alright. Click the light bulb icon on the top to dim the light and see the crime scene as it was during the murder. You can bring the light back by clicking on the icon again. Okay. Okay. How did the killer shoot the dancer without being seen? And hide the gun. So the fact that they got the gun to tape under one of these seats, it's crazy to me. Alright, so there's speakers. They had speakers in their theaters 100 years ago? I have no idea. Okay. Objective. A ballet dancer was shot without anyone seeing the culprit. How was the crime perpetrated? The diorama shows what the theater looked like after the police investigation ended. The ballet dancer was performing a series of difficult spins for her solo act. Everyone heard 2 gunshots, after which the dancer fell to the ground. Staff members were waiting in the wings. They rushed on stage and confirmed she was dead. Several members of the audience turned around, but nobody saw the shooter. No one left until the investigation ended. The police organized a search. Once they arrived, a gun was found beneath the seats. Fact: a bullet entered through the victim's chest, hit the heart, and remained in her body. Fact: a bullet was found on the wall. A lack of gunshot residue implies the shot was made from afar. Fact: the gun found in the auditorium fired 2 bullets discovered at the crime scene. Okay, so it was shot from afar. This is the seat where the gun was found under. Well, the assumption would be this is the same gun that shot the ballerina, which may not be true. Because they could have planted the gun ahead of time to make it seem like the bullet came from the audience, but what if it didn't? Okay, so this is supposedly the second bullet. It came from the door? Doesn't seem plausible. Okay. Gun found the auditorium fired 2 bullets discovered the crime scene. Okay, so they're saying the gun was used in the murder. And they're saying the bullet went this way into the wall behind them. Okay. What else is back here? It's a painting. The ladder, some bags, red curtains, mirrors, another ladder on the side, painting, mirror, back door, rope, ballet shoes. My question is, how did it get the gun under the seat without being seen? Unless the gun was already there ahead of time. It was this seat too, which is a little random. If the trajectory was this way. Are you sure the bullet and the gun came from the... Okay, they're saying that this gun fired the bullet. The trajectory of the bullet is this way? You know that for a fact? How did it wait all the way through the wall though? Bullets from the wall. Well, this bullet could have been planted ahead of time. God, there's no pressure at all. Everyone heard 2 gunshots. The gun found in the ultrarian fire, the 2 bullets discovered at the crime scene. The bullet went this way? I guess if you're in the back row here, you have an opportunity to hide the gun under the seat. Members of the audience turned around, but nobody saw the shooter. Theoretically, could have shot on here and then go to the back door. Nobody saw the shooter. No one left the investigation until the investigation ended. Okay, they could have shot, hid it under the... But it was a full house, supposedly. Alright, we'll see. But now a minute was the next arrow. Okay, I don't know yet. We'll see. Sometime this month, maybe? I haven't done one in a while. Maybe sometime this month. Since it's been like, what, 3 months since we last did one? Focus! Do my best. My theory is... someone here took a shot, hit the gun underneath the chair. We'll see. Any ideas? I observed the scene of the crime! Oh, wait. I observed the scene of the crime. It's a simple case, really. Okay. No, I'm not sure if I found the trick. Well, the big problem here is that no one spotted the shooter. Everyone heard the gunshots, but no one saw anything suspicious where no matter how you slice it. Did you figure that out? I don't... Because what they used to shoot because of where they shot from. They didn't shoot. I think the best explanation is the shots that the audience heard weren't the actual shots. It was that simple all along. The truth is, the killer didn't shoot the girl. The shots were fake. Girl didn't die from being shot. She was poisoned before the show. And she's spinning around. She makes up the bad juice inside her. So when it activates the poison. Did she miss the part where she had a bullet inside of her? People were rushing to check on the girl when she fell. That's when the bad guy secretly shot her when no one was looking. Truly a sinister plan. How does that make any sense? You don't make any sense, alright. Oh no, any poison works like that, honey. But besides that, no poison can be seen in the model or any secret killing method for that matter. So it wouldn't be a valid solution if poison worked like you said. Soon as the dancer collapsed, several crew members were crowded beside her, pulling out a gun and shooting on, detecting the scenario would be impossible. Not to mention the fact that everybody saw blood seeping from her chest before she fell in the first place. It wasn't catch-up. Okay, we're going with where they shot from. Where the shield is shoot from to avoid being seen. Killer shot from outside, that's why nobody saw him. Bullet's trajectory didn't pass through the door. Oh, not doing very well. I just don't think the gun that was used was the actual gun. There's no... I don't think that's really an option, though. Below the stage. On the right wing, on the left wing. Between the seats. Audience looked around after shots were fired. I just don't think the... Be here all night. Could have been hiding on the sides. So they're saying the staff members are all there. Below the stage, wings, behind the curtains. I'm very confused. Okay, we're gonna use a hint. We're gonna set up multiple misdirections. The answer to this question may seem contradictory at first glance. I don't think they used the gun. I still think my first... I don't think they used the gun. Or if they did, it was a contraption of some sort. Figured it out, did you, Sherry? The villain taped the gun on the wall and then used a rope to pull the trigger from their seat. The poor people didn't even realize an evil person sitting right next to them. Okay. I'm a little bit confused. Why isn't the option that there's two guns? Like, why is the assumption the gun that was found in the chair was the same gun that was used to shoot them? Okay. near the entrance in the corner. The trajectory doesn't make sense if it's in the corner. Below the stage, besides the wall. So they're saying anyone that was standing around would have been obvious. Is what they're saying. Okay, we need another hint. I'm not understanding what the game wants. Audience would have seen the shooter if they were in the auditorium. Where else could the criminal have a clear shot at the victim and no one else around them? Are they saying he shot him from behind the curtain? Take a look at the path of the shot to make you see that's really high. The shooter would need to stand on their tiptoes to shoot like that. Now it would look really silly, so they wouldn't have done that. I must admit, at first I was quite puzzled by this, but then I had a revelation. You see, if we just looked at things in reverse, the killer shot from behind the curtains. Dance was spinning so nobody could tell the real direction of the shot. That's actually why the killer fired at that time to hide their location. If you think about it, shooting from behind the curtains contradicts a few things at the crime scene. The bullet behind the curtain doesn't make sense if the shooter was there already. Police from the gun below the seats is weird to how to get there. Well, I mean, unless there was two guns. Starting with the gun, like you said, was found beneath the seat. What would seem to suggest someone in the audience did it. But if what you're saying is right and the shooter was on stage when they fired, that begs the question, why did no one notice the criminal placing the gun under the seat? Because of when it was hidden. I think there's two guns. The gun was there all along. The gun was used to kill the gun. The one police found a different. Oh my god! Okay, my first theory was right. Oh, never mind. We know for a fact that the bullet found inside the victim's fired by the gun to SubtleStyleStudio theater. Why did no one notice? Is what they used to hide it? When it was hidden. Well, they could have hidden it after the fact, I guess. Killer could have hidden the gun during when nobody knows the criminal doing it. Why did no one notice the criminal? Anyone hiding the gun? Because who the criminal was? Staff member. I see the truth clear as day now. Why wasn't the killer seen? It's quite elementary, really. The killer worked there, so nobody found it strange when they stepped off the stage and helped the police. And while pretending to look under the seats, they pretended to have found the gun. Criminal quietly slid the gun while people were looking the other way, and then falsely claimed they found it. Checkmate, evildoer! Officers, arrest that man! Just jumping to conclusions. It is. If the killer was a staff member, they would have had plenty of chances to dispose of the gun, but we can't say for sure that the person who found it is the criminal. Not yet anyway. So that takes care of the gun issue, but there was another problem bullet behind the wall. No, but the bullet could have been there the whole time. Okay. Patience, my dear bosun. The mind is a complicated machine. I'll explain it to you. It's true that the killer couldn't have shot the wall while they were hidden behind the curtains, but that doesn't mean they couldn't have done it at some other time. Since the criminal was a staff member, they had access to the theater whenever. All they had to do was come one day in secret and bang shoot the curtains. Nobody would have been able to notice a little hole left in there. The killer would have even used tape or prop to cover it up so nobody would find it. Not until the murder investigation, that is. That makes no sense. Wait, what? It makes perfect sense. What do you mean? Because there were 2 gunshots. Says who? That's what everybody said. Everybody heard 2 gunshots. But that's only if you assume that both gunshots were actual gunshots. Or did people hear 2 gunshots? Speaker? Nobody in the audience could even agree on where the shots came from, because what people heard weren't actually gunshots. They were fake gunshots played by the speakers. The killer wanted to make everyone think the gun was fired twice, but they shot only once at the dancer. The bullet stuck in the wall was planted from the start. You did all that? Right on the money, Chief! You got it! Good job! You're so smart, Bo. You figured out that's so cool! That's why you should listen to me more. Oh. Oh, no, you say dumb stuff most of the time. Alright, girl. I don't, though. Let's take it from the top. As you deduce, the criminal was a stagehand at the theater. He had been romantically involved with the victim, but she left him for another guy. Very ugly breakup. Huh. Otis motive in the book. Guy was pretty sick in the head, so in a fit of jealousy, he decided to commit the ultimate sin, murder. But since he was an obvious suspect, he had to find a way to make it so he had a strong alibi, hence the trick. The plan was to shoot her on the opening night of her show and make it seem like one of the spectators did it. First thing he did was plant a bullet hole a week before the show while nobody was around. It was also his first mistake. He didn't realize the shooting angle would be awkward for someone in the crowd. The second thing he did was offering to take care of the sound system. He used that to add 2 gunshots to the melody of the victim's performance at the very specific timing. No live band? What kind of ballet performance is this? No live orchestra? Want my money back. Then the night of the show came. He slipped behind the curtains and waited in the darkness for his chance. If he shot from there, it would be obvious where the bullet came from. That's why he chose to shoot while the victim was spinning around. He knew the choreography, so he knew exactly what he was waiting for. What if it didn't shoot her through the heart, though? If she was spinning that fast, what if it hit something else? As the first gunshot echoed from the speakers, he fired a single shot right at her chest. The gun was muffled with a silencer, so the only sound people heard was from the speakers. Okay. There's a misconception that silencers are actually silent. You can still hear a gunshot made by a silencer. I don't think people realize how loud gunshots are. She's not full of herself, but sure of herself. There's a slight problem with this scenario. Because one, if he had to time it to the music, there's no guarantee that he would shoot her through the heart if she was moving that fast. And 2, a silencer is not magic. You can still hear the gunshot with a silencer. But okay. Immediately after, the second gunshot rang out inside the theater, but this time the criminal didn't fire. Investigation would later match the second gunshot to the bullet in the wall and missed shot. This would be proof of the culprit being someone in the auditorium. Yeah, but wouldn't it be obvious that the bullet didn't come from the audience? Also, this guy has to be quite a marksman to be able to shoot at someone from between 2 curtains straight through the heart. After being shot, the dancer fell dead to the ground. While everyone's focused on her, the killer came out of hiding and played the fool. And at last, once he had the chance, he disposed of the weapon below his seats. Also, wouldn't there be gunshot residue on the curtains? Only to shout that he had just found it. Plan wasn't half bad, but the inspectors in charge of the case back then were pretty sharp. There's evidence of the culprit tampering with the music. There were ties connecting him to the gun. It was over. I mean, the most obvious thing would be that the gunshot residue was on the wrong side of the curtain, but you know, whatever. You went through all these hoops, but in the end, the crime never pays. Never met a man named Moriarty. Solid B, okay. In the end, crime never pays. No criminal can hide from Sherry Holmes and her trusty sidekick Bosun. Alright, Sherry, Sherlock, Sherry, that's me. You don't have a hat. You need a hat to be Sherlock. It's your own? Solve the case, give it over. Alright, the kids are fighting. I'm gonna have to redo this case and get a perfect grade, because, you know, I gotta pad the playtime somehow. Just kidding. I still think there's so many ways this could have gone wrong. There's so many ways this could have gone wrong, I'm just saying. But, you know, suspense of disbelief or whatever they call it. Okay, so where are they shot from? Behind the curtains. Okay, let's skip through this. Technically it's cheating, but I want to know what happens if you get all of them, like, perfect score. Alright, here we go. Blah, blah, blah. Alright. Speed run! You know when it was hidden. Because of who the criminal was. Staff member. Aim for perfection even when you know it's impossible? Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm a perfectionist. The only thing stopping me from being perfect all the time is my own laziness. Oh. Because of my own laziness. Alright. Give me my ass! Give me my ass. Speaker. There we go. You're not lazy, I'm just a slacker? Please. We all know those two are the same thing. One's just a prettier way of saying it. My famous last words. It's alright, be like that sometime, you know? Just gotta view things differently. Alright, genius! Thank you. Thank you. I am indeed a genius. Genius at being lazy. Alright, finish The Last Dance. The Sleeping Beauty! The strange tale was rescored. Okay, let's start over. Hang on, let me get a drink of water. This strange tale was recorded by a historian in the margins of an old tome. Once upon a time, there was a princess who lived at the summit of a majestic tower. On a fateful night, the royal family paid her a visit. Together, they shared a pleasant dinner. Following the meal, her aunt requested a private audience with her in the tower's library. The servants stationed outside the room noticed their voices getting louder and more violent. Abruptly, the princess stormed out with tears in her eyes. In silence, the servants guided her to her chambers. The princess quietly instructed her attendants to warn her if her aunt made any suspicious movements. She then vanished behind her bedroom door, locking it behind her. Time passed and night became day again. The servants came to the princess's bedroom for her morning routine, but they found the door was still locked. They knocked, but there was no answer. Growing anxious, they forcibly broke down the door only to discover the princess was dead. Inexplicably, the sole key to her room was found upon her table. Every member of the royal family and all the servants were assembled and everyone was accounted for. A perplexing murder had occurred within a room sealed from the inside. Alright. Oh, I have a bot. Excuse you, bot. Don't interrupt my storytelling. How dare you? No way, how can this be? My dear sister cruelly murdered. Just when we were about to have a tea party and go riding together, what horrible monster could have done this? Your princess not. Of course, Bo, how dare you? Wait a minute, if the key was inside, then how did the culprit escape? This smells like a cunning scheme. Am I a princess, you ask? Not today. Today I'm a detective, and I'm going to solve this mystery no matter what for the good people of the kingdom. No! For my dearest sister. Right, sure, whatever. Muto, we've got another mystery on our hands. Got another mystery on our hands. Ugh. I want ice cream. I can't focus because all I'm thinking about is the butter pecan ice cream in my fridge. Freezer. Not fridge. Freezer. Alright, the room was locked. How was the princess killed? Take a look. Objective. A princess was found dead in her chambers. The room was locked, yet the key was inside. How? The diorama shows the state of the tower moments before the body was found. The princess welcomed the royal family over in her tower. The princess had a meeting with her aunt that night and she stormed off in distress. A couple of servants escorted her to her bedroom. They heard her locking the door. The next morning, a few servants tried entering the princess' room, but the door was still locked. The servants forced the door open and found the princess dead. The servants gathered everyone together, but no one claimed to know anything. The victim was smothered with the pillow! The room below the princess' chamber were guest rooms. Nobody tampered with the crime scene after the door was forced open. The key found inside the princess' bedroom was the only key capable of opening the door. Okay. Okay, this is probably the guest room. Balcony door. The princess was here. Entrance. Balcony door. This is probably the dining room. There's windows on this side too. Hourglass. The doors on this side. And then the princess's room is up here. Window. Oh. Wait. Are those stairs? Oh no, it's this window. Okay, there's the door, wardrobe, bed with the pillow that smothered the princess. Key, needle, thread, lock. I don't have an ice cream. It's late to go get ice cream. I want ice cream now, thanks. You should always have ice cream. I always keep a pint of ice cream in my freezer. Just in case. I don't always eat it right away when I buy it. But I always keep ice cream at home. Just in case. You never know when you're in the mood for some ice cream. Ice cream is the cure for all my problems. The lesson learned is always keep ice cream in your freezer. I mean, potentially. Does everyone have alibis? Maybe they left through the window? Is there any ropes? I don't see any ropes on the scene. I guess could have used blankets. Lesson learned! Exactly. Sherry understands the truth. Got ourselves a good old-fashioned locked room mystery here. The guards heard the princess locking her own room. Yet the killer was somehow able to get in, do the deed, and get out, or so it seems. Let's start with the question how the killer entered the room if the princess had locked the door. Because how the door got unlocked because when they entered. The killer entered from somewhere else. The killer never entered the room. Killer couldn't enter through the door because it was locked, that much is certain. So they must have entered through the window. I mean, from the roof, right? Problem is that the roof's at the top of the tower. You can only get there from the bedroom, really. And getting into the bedroom when the door was locked is exactly what we're trying to figure out. But what if the bad guy used something to climb up? He's something he used to make up rope? Bed sheets or curtains, or how long was the bad guy's hair? It's too long of a distance to cover with any of those answers. It's not really possible. I mean, what if they were always inside the room? Because when they entered. My first assumption is the killer was always in the room. Like, for example, while the princess was talking to her aunt. I understand. My sister must have misgiven Auntie. That's why she locked the door, but she was tricked. She didn't lock the criminal out. She locked herself in with them. The bad guys must be hiding somewhere. And when she was sleeping, my poor sister, I can't keep going. This is too sad. Oh, I've got it! Alright, the killer stuck inside the room before the princess locked the door. That would have done the trick. But after committing the crime, the killer would have still needed to escape somehow, so we're only halfway there. How do you think the criminal escaped from that room? What if they didn't? The criminal didn't escape the room, they just kept hiding there. The servants broke down the door and then gathered everyone around. How would the killer leave his hiding spot without bringing attention to themselves? I'll grant you that's not impossible, but rather it requires some serious luck, so we're looking for a different answer. You're somewhere else? Killer exited through a secret entrance. I must confess I don't. That's why it's a secret now. What if they escaped through the window? I have no idea. Killer didn't open the door, they escaped through the window. That way they wouldn't need to use the key at all. Well, the window was closed when the servants got inside the room. What do you make of that? So outside the room, there's a roof you can stand on. So the killer jumped outside and closed the window from up there. Oh, easy as that? Alright, so they say you can't climb up, but you can jump down. Got it. So far, we know how the criminal got in and out of the room. What did they do to get down from there? That guy jumped downstairs into this little balcony. That makes sense, but what would you say is the distance between the roof and the balcony? A lot? It would be roughly like dropping down one floor. People can definitely survive a fall like that, but there's some risk of injury, and that make you suspicious. So we're looking for a method that's a bit safer than just jumping off the roof. How did the criminal escape from the roof without getting hurt? Let's go to the guest room. Or if they use the bed. It's true that the evildoer could hurt themselves jumping down the roof, but not if something was there to cushion their fall. Something they had prepared beforehand. What could that be? Why, it's terribly simple. The bed's downstairs! The criminal took the mattress and put them on the balcony before going to my sister's room. That way they had a place to jump to without getting hurt, and that's what happened. Excellent! Good going! Oh, thank you, Father. And that's it! That concludes the trick. There's not a lot of information available for this particular case, but here's what people think happened. There was a power struggle within the royal family, and a few members wanted the princess out of the picture. That night, the murderer entered an unused guest room and placed the mattress on the balcony. Then they snuck into the princess's bedroom while she was gone. Princess, after having a meeting with her aunt, returned to her room along with her guards. When she arrived, she locked the door and aware that her assailant was already hiding inside. And while she was sleeping, she was attacked. After killing the victim, the criminal needed to escape. They jumped from the window onto the roof, before dropping down into the balcony below where a couple of well-placed mattresses to cushion their fall. And with no evidence left behind, they simply snuck back into their room, and thinking they'd get away with it, they slept through the night like a baby. Mystery solved. Alright, I didn't do too badly on that one. If I may say so myself. I got a B at least. As a kid, I jumped off the roof onto a beanbag. I'm still here. Yeah, beanbag can displays a surprising amount of kinetic energy. I hope you're watching me from heaven, sister. I did it. I solved it. This is fun. Can we do more mysteries and castles and stuff, please? What do you mean? That thing where you pretend you're a real detective or something? Stop doing that. Excuse you, Bo. Sherry's a perfectly legit detective. It's cool. Why even here? It's like you don't want to play. I'm not here to play. I'm here to study. I'm going to be a real detective someday. All right, Bo. So this is like school to you? Well, that's so boring. If you're not going to take this seriously, just leave already. We don't need you. Excuse me. She solved the case. Yeah, she doesn't want to leave. It's so annoying when we play detective. What if we do the next one without telling him? You need to make up? Nah, I don't want to. I don't want to. That's not how it works around here. Alright, let's redo that one for a perfect score. Let's redo that one for a perfect score. Because I can. And it doesn't take very long. The dioramas are pretty cool. Alright, Sherry being dramatic. Okay. Alright. So they entered while the princess was talking to her aunt. Which we know is true. Exit using the window. Here we go. And they broke their fall. broke their fall with the mattress. You know you're a perfectionist when you do it for yourself and not for others? Exactly. I hate when people are like, no one will know. I'm like, but I would know. We're like, no one will know. Why do you care? Because I care. I would know. That's all that matters. That I would know. I don't care about what other people think. I care about what I think. And sometimes, you know, what I think is a direct result of what other people think, but that's another thing altogether, and we're not dealing with that right now. Perfect as I am, as I should be. As I'm born to be. Alright, let's skip over the children fighting. Let's try out Chapter 2, Rapunzel Complex. It's a little Dr. Cola's Sleeping Beauty when the princess dies at the end. You guys remember this sunrise? Time for Act 2. Oh, there's an Act 2? Alright, last time we ended on a bit of a sour note. Good thing you talked it out in a civilized manner and made up, right? Oh no, did we? Did we? Didn't think so? I should have gone and got some of my butter pecan ice cream. Superb! S rank! Exactly, as I should be. Oh man, I'm gonna keep thinking about my butter pecan ice cream. It doesn't help that the castle is like cream colored. It makes me think of ice cream. Balconies are gone. I removed them, let me explain. I actually simplified a few things from the real mystery. It would have been too hard otherwise. Alright. Don't take it as me doubting you two. I just thought it would be better to do it like this. So let's go over what the tower actually looked like. First, in the previous version of the tower, I said the guest room had balconies. But in reality, they just had regular windows. That means you can't jump down, right? Alright, the other night we said the killer escaped by jumping down from the roof. With no balconies, that wouldn't quite work out. Okay. Don't go activating anything yet. There's something else that's different. Take a quick look at the crime scene, see if you can spot anything new. Something in the window. What is that? It's a bolt. If you slit that little metal bar, it locks the window. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is because when the servants broke into the room and discovered the body, it wasn't only the door that was locked, the window was bolted shut too. See. Let me spoil you that the killer entered the room exactly like we talked about last time. That's not the problem here. The problem is how they escaped from the room, leaving both the door and the window locked. Check out the guest room before doing anything else. There's something important in there. Try not to miss it, and that's it. All right. Let's investigate the updated guest room. There's ropes in there now. So theoretically, he could still come in and out of the window using the ropes. Question is, how do you lock it? I guess it could be locked using a rope. The room has no gap at all between the window and the window frame. Okay, hang on. These are the same. When inspecting the room, they found the window was bolted shut. Servants gathered everyone together, but no one claimed to know anything. The victim was smothered with a pillow. This is all the same. Nobody tampered with the crime scene after the door was forced open. The key found inside the princess' bedroom was the only key capable of opening the door. The princess' room has no gap at all between the window and the window frame. The window in the princess' room is in perfect state. There are no scratches on it. An instructional pamphlet describing a rope trick used for this case. If a rope tied to the string, you want to get it back quickly. It's easy if you use the quick release knot. Just pull from the end of the rope and the knot comes undone. You can even tie a second rope to the end of the first one. That lets you retrieve the rope from far away. These knots have some limitations and caveats in the real world, which we'll completely ignore. So they use one piece of string, one piece of rope to climb down, and the other to lock the window once it was released. Okay, I think I understand what they're saying now. Alright, this isn't that hard. Let's go back to how the crime happened. The culprit kills the princess and needs to flee the scene. How did they escape from the top of the tower? Because of what they used. Guest room. Rope. Killer used a rope, right, to climb down. Good. A little obvious maybe, but of course that's what the new clues are for. And they used a quick release knot. They used that to get the rope back. And what did the killer tie the rope to? He would have needed to tie the rope to something, otherwise something funny would have occurred. Yes, it matters what they what they tied it to. What exactly did the criminal tie the rope to before climbing down? The bolt. They tied it to the bolt, that way they could close the window and lock it in one go. Tie the rope to the bolt, the window wouldn't close because the rope would be in the way. What did they tie it to then? Tie it to... They climbed up the window. We would have to tie it to something. Maybe they tied it to the door? I need a hint. The solving a complex puzzle is often used to solve simplified versions of them. Try to solve the mystery without worrying about the fact that the window was bolted. Tie it to the bed, maybe? That would be the best thing to tie it to, would be the bed. Do my best, Muto. I'm doing my best. Had to be the bed. As heavy it is, the weight of a person will move it for sure. The bed will drag towards the window. I'm thinking the door. I'm thinking it's the door. Because it's locked. Killer tie the rope to the door. That would hold their weight for sure. They tie the rope to the handle and then... climb down, use the second rope to get it back. When you rush out deduction and start making mistakes. Picture in your head, the criminal ties the rope to the door. What they do immediately after? They tie a second rope to the first one to undo the knot later. And then the killer grabs both ropes and jumps through the window to get to the roof. And then climb down using the rope tied to the door. Criminal gets inside the guest room below through the window. It could have been open from the start. Once they're inside, all that's left is to remove the ropes. They pull from the second rope, which undoes the knot of the rope tied to the handle. They just keep pulling until they retrieve the two ropes. Okay. Remember the killer had to leave the room in the exact state the servants found it. Got the rope back. How do they lock the window? The window would be left open. Things went like you said, the servants would have found the window open. Blocking it really possible. Well, I wasn't concerned about the lock just yet. What is real trouble is the window would be wide open. What if we tie another rope to the window and pull? That would work. You wouldn't be able to close the window if you wrap something around it. You may somehow manage to close it, there's a chance the rope will get stuck. What if you use the curtain? Will I tie the rope to climbing down? Clock would have moved. The wardrobe doesn't make sense. They're saying it's not the door. Not the bed. I don't think it can be the wardrobe. It's not the ball. How about this clock? Yeah, the clock would definitely move. Books wouldn't do much. Table wouldn't do much. That guy tied the rope to the window. I don't think that would work either. Would have tied it to the seat? I'm just trying everything at this point. Wait, what if we tied it to the top of the tower? I see it. Well, it was right in front of us all along. The truth. Yes, my dear bosun, I can see you carefully investigating the crime scene, but you're failing to notice if the rope was tied to something inside the room. Then the villain wouldn't have been able to close the window. Simple. If the rope wasn't tied to something inside the room, then it must have been tied to something outside of it. Like the tower itself. You don't see it, do you? Don't fret! I shall gladly explain how the escape took place. The killer climbed onto the roof and closed the window behind them. Then, with the rope in hand, they circled around the tower. After coming back around, they made a knot. Climbed down towards freedom, supported by nothing else than the cursed tower itself. Good job, company. Nice thinking outside the box. It's a tough one, too. I mean, if you can't use anything inside, use the outside, right? Is so the tower? I'm like, well, if it doesn't work, then let's try it outside. I mean, of course, it was elementary. No way, that's the answer. Tying a rope to something so big is ridiculous. Why is it ridiculous? Don't you need a lot of rope to do that? But there was a lot of rope. You can tie everything up to make a super rope. That say it works is fine. You don't need to take my word. Do you think your sister's idea makes sense or not? So we're all on the same page here. And the criminal closed the window from outside the bedroom just before climbing down. But they wouldn't be able to lock it since the bolt is on the inside. So the next question is, how exactly did the killer bolt the window? This is when they bolted it. And the body is discovered. What if the killer was one of the servants that found the body and they locked it before anyone could tell? It's not too crazy of an idea, but I'm telling you right here, that's not what happened. Okay. How did the killer bolt the window? This is what they used to bolt it. What did the killer use to bolt the window? They left through the window. That's not when the body was discovered. What's on the makeup counter? Thread, key, and a candle. What if they use the clock? What if they use the clock? You don't see what I mean? You tie a piece of thread to it, and when the clock turns, it pulls the thread. No? Okay. Once the killer left the bedroom, accessing the bolt seems impossible. Unless, of course, they locked it from far away, which could easily be done with gentle pull on the thread. The string went from the lock thingy, through the keyhole, and out of the room. If the bad guy climbed down and merrily returned to the room from the outside, and with a simple pull of the thread, it bolted the window shut. And use a secret rope arc to recover the thread from the scene. A thread is just a tiny rope after all. And thus, the ruse was complete. Wait, what? Wait, what? Is that... Wait, what? Using the thread? Is detective coming through? So I was thinking the thread, the clock hands devious. Well, it's not the clock. They apparently did it through the keyhole. Doesn't make sense. Why not? To lock the window, you have to push the bolt to the side. If you pull from the door, you're pulling the wrong way. You can't lock the window like that. That means you're wrong? Not really, though. Pulling the bolt away from the window wouldn't quite lock it. Doesn't make it too... I still think it's... Okay, I think you're right, Christine. Maybe they did use the clock. Okay, we're going with the clock. Bad guy just wrapped the string around something in the room. So the string went like this. And then like that. That way when they pulled the string, the lock moved to the left. Oh, okay. And that, my dear bosun, is how it's done. I see. Wouldn't it be easy to tie it to the clock? But I guess that will leave evidence behind. Fantastic work, kiddos! Let's review. After committing the crime, what did the criminal do? They tied a little string to the window. And they passed it through the keyhole so that the end of the string could be pulled from the outside. Then they took a second string, tied it to the first one, and repeated the process. This will let them remove it later. Criminal then climbed onto the roof and closed the window behind them. What happened after that? Killer went around the tower holding the rope. And tied it and used it to climb down. And then they used 2 ropes. And after the killer snuck into the guest room, they pulled the second rope down to retrieve everything. Having escaped, they quietly went back upstairs to the princess's room. They pulled the string passed through the keyhole, bolting the window shut. And they pulled a second string to retrieve everything from the scene using the same trick as before. And without any clues left behind, the locked room mystery was completed. Okay. So they're saying, okay, you know, I'm a little bit confused. I'm like, so there was no guards outside the princess's room? Is that what they're saying? That there was no guards posted outside the princess's room? After she locked the door on herself? Shay's cheating? Where does that come from? That'd be lame. She's trying to trick you. There's no way she figured out everything by herself. Why not? Besides, the story's rare. She shouldn't have known beforehand if that's what you're suggesting. But then how? Her awesome detective skills! Duh! So you seriously just came up with all that? You're kidding, right? Nope. That makes no sense. All you do is say, oh, that's elementary, pretend you're smart or something. Wow. Bo's really upset. You're like those police people that say the obvious wrong things before the real detective shows up. You're trying to be a detective, but I'm already one. I'm Sherry, the super detective. I can solve anything. See, that's what I'm saying. Obvious. You can't even see I'm a real detective. How are you going to see anything else? Boring people can only solve boring mysteries. Damn. Tell me how you actually sold it for real? Huh. I see. I think this game low-key trains you to be a ninja. Actually, though. Alright, let's speedrun this one so we get a perfect score. Let's speedrun it so we get a perfect score. Come on. Whoop, whoop. Whoop, whoop. Bo's very upset about everything. Alright, so they tied it to the actual tower itself. Alright, there we go. Tied it to the tower. And that's how they made their escape. Okay. Alright. Speed run. Saying they used the string to bolt it. Okay. And it went behind the I mean, I get what they're saying, but also like, were there no guards outside the door? I was thinking like the clock hand pulled the string, but they're going with something completely different. As to not leave any evidence behind. Very old school crime. Or we're speedrunning a little bit because I'm just here for the S score. There we go! Genius! Alright, and then the kids are bickering. Kids are fighting. Alright, and Dad's gonna clean up the scene of the crime. Alright, so here's our final puzzle, the shadow of the goat. The story took place during a masquerade ball. The host was a man donning a leopard mask. Leopard opened the doors of his castle and welcomed a myriad of guests that filled the main hall. While the evening started on a pleasant note, trouble started brewing around a man wearing a goat mask. The man in question was a noble nobody was fond of. He was having a heated discussion with the other guests. Drunk, he blurted out that he had studied the occult and was capable of disappearing from any locked room. People laughed at him, but Goat doubled down, daring everyone to put some money on the line. 6 people accepted his wager: lion, owl, deer, peacock, rabbit, and fox. Led by Goat, they moved to a secluded part of the castle. After descending a flight of stairs, they arrived at a dark dungeon hall. Deeper in the dungeon, behind a wooden door, was a cell corridor thinly illuminated by the moonlight. Goat lit up a pair of candles and offered them to the group, allowing them to inspect the place as they saw fit. After a thorough inspection, the group found no means of escape. Goat himself was also searched, revealing only an ancient book in his possession. Once everyone was satisfied, Goat took one of the candles and instructed everyone to wait in the dungeon hall. He grinned in the candlelight as the group closed the door, sealing him away. Nervous chatter filled the air as the group waited anxiously in the hall. Deer, holding the second handle, illuminated the wooden door the entire time. 15 minutes later, a piercing shriek resonated throughout the dungeon. When Deer opened the door, he froze up. Everyone saw the same thing, a lone flickering light coming from the last cell. The group rushed forward in an excited panic. There they discovered the candle and the book abandoned on the cell floor, but Goat was missing. Everyone quickly checked all the cells, but to their shock, Goat wasn't in any of them. Owl then revealed that after seeing people rush in, he stood behind to block the exit. While the group searched, he found no one going past him. The barred window was tightly secured, and there was nothing inside the dungeon that could explain the escape. As promised, Goat had disappeared. Alright, red flag wabbit season! Focus, focus. Oh, you mean hocus pocus. That's what we got going on right now. Man, I want ice cream. Okay, so he disappeared. Oh! The story's not finished. The night didn't end there because 15 minutes after Goat vanished, as the group searched the dungeon for him, he was spotted in the main hall. Witnesses saw him having a conversation with Leopard before the two left together. Castle guards reported that they headed towards the Leopard's chambers. Another 15 minutes passed before the group returned defeated from the dungeon. They were in disbelief when people told them Goat had been seen leaving with Leopard. Sensing something was wrong, they decided to split up and search for them. Most members of the group didn't find anything until several screams echoed in the distance. People started arriving one by one at the source of the commotion, the castle armory. Everyone noticed broken pieces of a barricade indicating the door had been forced open. Inside the room, Fox tried to wake up battered and unconscious Lion who sat beneath the window. Nobody knew what was happening, but one fact was certain: Goat was not present in the armory either. Fox then gave her testimony of what took place. After they went their separate ways, strange noises coming from the armory prompted her to investigate. She tried to open the door, but it wouldn't budge. She raised her voice, asking if anyone was inside. Suddenly, she heard a scream from Lion, followed by a brief struggle and the sound of glass shattering. Then silence. In a panic, she grabbed an axe hanging just outside the armory and struck the door until it opened. Lion was lying collapsed beneath the window, but nobody else was there. Fox stayed by Lion's side until the rest of the group arrived. After Lion woke up, they asked him what happened as well. He recounted finding Goat lurking in the armory. He questioned him about Leopard, but he played the fool. They argued until Lion heard Fox's voice through the door. Before he could answer, Goat abruptly pulled up a knife and stabbed him. A struggle ensued and Lion managed to wrestle a knife away from him. However, he was forcibly pushed against the window, losing consciousness as he hit his head. But just before he did, he was certain that Goat was standing right next to him. When he woke up, he was surrounded by Fox and the rest of the group. Then everyone had a horrible realization nobody had seen Leopard yet. In a frantic sprint, the group ran towards his chamber. The door was locked. They breached the room only to find Leopard dead on the floor. Police arrived at the scene but found themselves terribly puzzled. Every corner inside the castle was searched, but there was no conceivable hiding spots. The area outside the castle was inspected, but there were no traces of an escape. Everyone's mask was removed and not a single one revealed the man behind the goat mask. It disappeared again. At last everyone believed him. This air, this foul stench, just what on earth happened here? I didn't say anything, just do whatever you want like you always do. I don't know where to start anyway, this looks really complicated. How'd the first part go again? It's a lot to take in, but I've asked the confidence you two will figure it out. One ice cream. Can't focus. Just take your time, talk to each other. You got this. I need a snack. I need a snack. I'll be right back. Hold, please. Hold, please. I'm gonna go get some kettle chips because ice cream is a little too much right now. I think it would melt everywhere with how long it takes for me to solve this. Take 5 minutes. We'll grab a snack and I'll be right back. have returned. And my kettle cooked chips was delicious. It was delicious. It was crunchy too. Crunchy too. Back. Thank you, Christine. Thank you, Muto. Alright, so this is the case of the disappearing goat and the murder of the leopard. Due to the complexity of the case, the cards have been split up between all the dioramas. It is recommended to start by reviewing all the available evidence. Alright. Excuse me. Alright, the objective is to find out the truth behind the disappearance and attack committed inside the castle. The diorama shows how the castle looked when the police arrived. Group photo of the people involved with the case. Alright, so leopard, red vest, orange hair. Lion, owl. So we have 3 girls, 3 of them women, 3 women, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 women and then 5 men. Now what I'm noticing here is the goat and the lion has same colored hair. Different outfit though. Different outfit. Okay. All right. Interesting how they took a photo like this where I can clearly see everything that's going on, but it'd be like that sometimes. Guards outside the castle watched over the bridge and reported that no one left all night. What if their body was dumped in the water? There were no footprints or traces in the dirt surrounding the castle. Everyone had access to the castle rooftop. Goat's mask was unique, there weren't any duplicates. Goat is a master at faking other people's voices. Goat had one accomplice that night. It's probably the fox. We'll see. Okay, so it's one set of information for the entire castle. Okay. And there's one set of information for the room that Leopard died in, and another set of information for Armory, and then another set of information for the dungeon. Hi, Johnny. How's it going? We're solving a crime through dioramas. Quite complicated and quite difficult. But we're gonna do our best. We're gonna do our best. There's some rope here. Some wheat bags. And there's the door. Alright, so this is the door in and out of the dungeons. Here are each of the individual cells. And this is how the door was open and closed. What is this? Alright, prison bed. Alright. The diagrams of the rooms are mirrored. The windows lead to the moat, not the courtyard. The masked party was hosted by Duke Leopard, many guests gathering in the main hall to socialize. Goat, an infamous noble, proposed a bet that he could disappear from a room using dark magic. Lion, owl, deer, peacock, rabbit, and fox took him on the bet. Leopard was not present. The group arrived at the dark dungeon. After inspecting it, they found no means of escape. Goat was also patted down. There was nothing on his person but an ancient book. The group left Goat alone in the cell corridor with a single candle and closed the door. Everyone waited in the dungeon hall. Deer illuminated the door the whole time. After 15 minutes passed, a loud shriek resonated behind the door. Deer opened the door. Everyone saw a candlelight shining from the last cell. They rushed to the last cell where only the candle and the book remained. The group inspected all the cells, but Goat was gone. Nothing strange was found either. Al revealed that after seeing everyone rush in, he moved to block the entry to the cell door. Al didn't feel anyone force their way out while the group inspected the dungeon. Al isn't the accomplice. He's telling the truth. Okay. It's the bloody book. Cell window. Okay. Right. Okay, so there's some information about just the dungeons. There's a pickaxe though. What a hoot that owl is. Well, at least he's honest. So the first question is, how did Goat escape from this room? What is this? Why can't I touch it? Oh, this is the candle. Alright, get out of here. So that's the dungeon. And there's the armory. My question is, why are there two lion masks? Which makes me think... that there's two lions. Armory window, lion's body, blood. There's the bloody knife. Shields, torch, sword. Bloody handkerchief. Like, why is this here? Lion's duplicate clothes, which is interesting to me. Bunch of swords. Like, why is there an axe here? Oh, that's right. She broken through the door. But that still doesn't make sense. Like, she cut through here? Or the barricade? Oh, so they're saying that she broke the barricade through the door using the axe. Is that true, or is that an act? I wonder if Lion is Goat's accomplice. So why is there two outfits? Okay, let's take a look. Find out the truth behind the disappearance. Okay, we already know this. 30 minutes after Goat vanished, the group that went to the dungeon returned to the main hall. Worried when they heard Goat was seen with Leopard, the group split up to search for them. Most members of the group found nothing until they heard shouts from the armory. Inside the armory, Fox was trying to wake up an unconscious lion. Goat wasn't in the room. Everyone in the castle removed their masks, but no one was the man behind the goat mask. The police arrived and searched every corner of the castle, but Goat was nowhere to be found. After splitting up, Fox heard some noises coming from the armory. She tried to open the door, but it didn't budge. She asked if somebody was there. She heard lions screaming, followed by glass shattering in silence. Fox broke the door with an axe and found Lion unconscious against the window. After splitting up, Lion found Goat in the armory and questioned him about Leopard. They both heard Fox's voice from outside. Suddenly, Goat stabbed Lion with a knife. Lion managed to wrestle a knife away from Goat, but was shoved and lost consciousness. Fact: duplicate of Lion's mask and clothes were found on the table, even though he was fully clothed. Fact: Lion survived with a deep stab in his shoulder and concussion on the back of his head. The knife came from here, in the armory. Okay. Now let's take a look. This is the courtyard. So if you come out the window, it would be into the water. Okay, let's take a look at Leopard's room. It's a bloody handkerchief just like the one. Just like the one in the... Just like the one in the armory. There's some writing instruments on the table. The window, shield, chainmail, wardrobe, pillow, nightstand. This is where Leopard's body was found. Cut. 15 minutes after Goat vanished from the dungeon, he was seen in the main hall with Leopard. Shortly after, Leopard and Goat were seen heading into Leopard's chambers. After Lion was found in the armory, the group tried entering Leopard's room, but it was locked. They forced the door open and found Leopard dead. Leopard had a stab wound on the back of his neck. He died quickly and quietly. Leopard always carried a key that could open any castle door, but it wasn't on his corpse. Same bloody handkerchief. I feel like Leopard was killed here. And his body was moved. Hello, Andres. How's it going? We're trying to solve a multi-layered castle murder mystery. Okay, how did Goat disappear multiple times inside the castle? This is hard. Shouldn't you have all the answers by now? Stop saying that. He's bothering me since the last case. So annoying. Make him stop. Just making sure you're not a cheater. How am I? I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best. If you're so smart, it should be easy too, right? You're just asking because you're stuck. You both know some parts of the story. Let's put everything together. See if we complete the puzzle. Alright, let's start by understanding how the first disappearance happened. You recall Goat was sealed in the castle's dungeon. However, when the group opened the door and checked, he was nowhere to be found. So what's the secret? How did he slip out without anyone noticing? I want to know what this is. What is this? Like, it exists, but when I click it, nothing happens. It's just on the candle? My guess is he was just hiding in another cell. Interesting game. It's hard. What was the... Hang on, let's take a look at the facts real quick. Okay, the group arrived at a dark dungeon. Found no means of escape. Nothing on this person but an ancient book. When waiting in the dungeon hall, Deer illuminated the door the whole time. Still candlelight shining from the last cell. Group sped all the cells but Go was gone. Nothing strange was found. Al revealed that after seeing people rush in, he moved to block the entry to the cell door. Al didn't feel anyone forcing their way out while the groups inspected the dungeon. Al isn't the accomplice. The easy answer would be that Al let him out. If he can't leave, the only explanation was he was hiding in one of the other cells. Well, he was never in there to begin with. I feel like he had to be back here, though. Yeah, this game is very interesting. It's a little difficult, though. Oh, but the door opened this way. So even if Al blocked the door, that doesn't mean that Goat can't be hiding here. Right behind the door. And he just followed them out and then left through the window. Okay. Well, this is where he was. Near door. He hid behind the door. Everyone ran to the light, so the bad guy just had to be quiet. There's a few things that strike me as odd if that had happened, but sure, that could work. Problem is, Al kept guard over the exit to make sure no one got out. Even the darkness with the help of the candle, someone could eventually notice him. So hiding behind the door doesn't fully explain how Go managed to sneak away. A partial answer. Because of when he escaped. Go to sealed. A scream is heard. A scream is heard and group goes inside. Okay. Wednesday of where he was, what he used, because of who let him out. Well, it's not Owl. So the leper was never there. So no one could let him out. So it has to be... What would he possibly have used? Cell window was prison bed. Candle. This is the dungeon. They're saying that the windows are no means of escape. Nothing strange. Rush to the last cell. They opened the door. Everyone saw candlelight shining from the last cell. Candle. We have a dark dungeon. They found no means of escape. When he escaped. When group goes inside. We heard him, the group goes inside. Before that wouldn't be possible, but why did everyone miss the escape when it happened? How did Goat escape from dungeon without being noticed? Where he was. Candle. Look. Cell window, prison bed. I'm not sure where they're going with this. What if he didn't escape? I was thinking that too. There was a lion mask in the armory. And it's just because of that, Go was able to mimic voices, right? And he was similar to Lion too. That's what I noticed. So if Goat had his mask, he'd be able to trick others into thinking he was lions. Okay, I was right about that. There's no way to escape in such a short period of time, so you're on the right track here. But answer me this, if Ghost was disguised as Lion when the group was looking for him, how did nobody notice there were two lions? In fact, why didn't Lion notice there was another lion lurking around? Surely he would have noticed. The reason is quite simple. They stayed in different cells. What if Goat stayed in one cell the whole time? As long as Lion never go in, it'd work. That's true. Even if they were in different cells, someone going from one cell to the next one would realize something's wrong. It's not impossible, but it's a narrow space. You have to be pretty lucky to not get found out. The real trick Goat used had more chance of succeeding like that. No one noticed too. Not if Lion is dead. If Goat disguised himself as Lion, why did no one notice two lions in the cell corridor? This is where Goat was. Hiding near the door. He hid behind the door forevermore. Check there, they weren't that sloppy. Goat disguised himself as a lion. Why did no one notice two lions in the cell corridor? Because of what Goat used. Lions duplicate clothes. Why did no one notice? There was two of him. Nothing strange was found. I need a hint. I'm confused. Goat had an accomplice. How could they have helped? Well, I think Lion is his accomplice. That's what Goat wore to avoid being noticed in the dungeon, but that just raises the question of why nobody knows different people walking around the same mask. Why did no one notice two lions in the cell corridor? What if a lion hid behind the door? What if a lion didn't go inside? There were never two lions in the room. The real lion never went through the door at all. Because he's the accomplice. He was an agent of evil with the heart as dark as the night. It means they were working together. Yeah, they switched. Strick was a two-man act, the mastermind Goat, the lackey lion. While Goat was trapped, he disguised himself as his partner. He faked a scream and hid like a weasel in the darkness in one of the cells. When the group ran inside, they flew right by him, blinded by the light of the candle. Not noticing that as soon as someone had stayed behind. Exactly, the lion, the group entered without him. Nobody realized that because it was dark. And while they were checking the last cell, Goat blended in and took his place. Alright. There's only so much you can do alone. Thankfully for Goat, he had a partner in crime. We explain everything that took place in the dungeon. It's something, but maybe it's obvious. What is it? How did Goat even get Lion's clothes? I mean, they weren't in the dungeon when the group checked in the first time. And Goat wasn't hiding them with him either. It's not that hard to do, you could do it somehow. That's what it's all about. That's what I was waiting to hear. How did Goat get Lion's mask and clothes to make the switch? Figure that out and you start unraveling this whole thing. And he received it. And Goat is... Before Goat is sealed. Goat wasn't hiding them with him. What if it was always inside the room? The costume was in the dungeon from the start. Oh, they would have found it. Maybe it was inside the book? He wore double mask and double sleeves, just like a little chubbier than usual. How did Goat get rid of his own clothes? Because they weren't in the dungeon. Threw them through the window. But then there's another problem. Goat was seen soon after in the main hall. It wouldn't be possible the goat mask was floating outside the castle at that moment. Maybe there was another mask, or 2 lion masks went out 2 goat masks. You know for certain that Goat's mask was unique. Okay. How did Goat get his disguise? Get in the book? Oh, what if Lion gave it to him while they were waiting? Go through the stone window. The lion guy passed the costume through his window. Not when they were all waiting, because they would have noticed. So it was right after everyone went in. The lion guy went towards the window and gave Goat his clothes somehow. Problem is that after the group rushed in, it wasn't long before they inspected the rest of the cells. Goat wouldn't have had time to exchange clothes before he was seen. What if it was hanging outside of his window? The mask was in the dungeon in the first place, had to come through the windows, right? But what is right outside those windows? Water. The window leading to the moat is not so obvious how Goat could have gotten the disguise. Okay, what if they put it into... a rope and hung it outside the window? It's like that trick in the tower. They were never going to find anything inside the dungeon because the costume was outside. Goat put Lion's costume inside a bag, tied it to a rope, and dropped it downstairs. The rope dangled right next to one of the prison windows. You just need to stick your hand out and you'll be able to reach it. Alright. The fog of doubt clears up, one mystery at a time. This thing on. Turn this off real quick. Alright, there we go. So that's how the first trick was done, but we're not quite done yet. There's a bunch of stuff that happened after, right? Let's back up a bit and focus on what happened right after Goat disappeared inside the dungeon. People saw him again with the dead guy. But I think that's Lion. Goat didn't actually escape from the dungeon. You didn't figure that out yet, Bosun? It was Lion in disguise. Just like Goat pretended to be Lion, Lion pretended to be Goat. Okay. I'm running out of steam here. Give it another go. Ding, 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 ding. That said, how did Lion end up with the Goat mask? Goat had his mask when he was locked inside the dungeon, so how did Lion manage to obtain it from outside? I think Shay wants to answer that since she knows so much already. From the bag, right? The Goat man got rid of his mask and put it in the bag. That's why nobody found it after that. All the Lion guy had to do was pull up the rope, open the bag, and there you go. We made some great progress! Oh, thank God! We spent a long time on this. We explained how Goat disappeared and how it's possible he was seen shortly afterwards in the main hall. Moreover, we've uncovered the fact that Goat and Lion were accomplices, so we know quite a bit at this point. But there are two issues we haven't touched on yet. The attacks in Leopard's room and in the armory. What happened in the armory is particularly confusing. Goat disappeared again and Lion was assaulted. But now that we know Lion and Goat were together, Lion being there doesn't seem like such a coincidence, does it? It's where he got stabbed, he was a bad guy as well. Maybe they had a fight. Maybe? Well, that's part of what you've got to figure out. Alright, why don't you take another look at the clues again? Maybe after knowing what happened in the dungeon, you can make some more deductions. You do that, and once you're ready, we'll figure out together the truth behind it all. Alright, what happened in Leopard's room and in the armory? Let's check out the armory. Well, the duplicate lion costume is here. So go stab Lion in the room. Spy with my little eyes, tricks, and buffoonery. I shall leave no clue unturned. And the fact that the bloody handkerchief is at both? Both, my boy. I'm afraid there's too much I see right now. There's a lot that went down, wasn't there? So where should we begin? How Goat escaped from the armory elementarily. Should start there, but let me give you a hand there. There's something you might have missed. It's something that easy not to think about, but will give you a better view of what happened. What I want you to think about is this. Who planned Leopard's murder? Wasn't Lion Goat? They were working together, right? We did say that, but Lion testified Goat stabbed him and ran away. So is it a trick or is it actual betrayal? Did everything go as planned or not exactly? The key to understanding that is asking ourselves why Leopard's murder happened the way it did. What do you think? I'll let it simmer for a bit. Who planned Leopard's murder? I think the Lion did. I'm afraid I can't relate. I see the truth clear as day. Spit it out then, where is it? You just need to put on your detective hat, Bosun. Riddle me this. Who do people blame for Leopard's death? Goat. Exactly. People saw him with Leopard before he died. Quite, but in truth, who killed him? Obviously Lion. Because he had traded places with the Goat. What else was Lion planning to do with Leopard if not kill him? Talk, play checkers. There was some papers in the room. Maybe that? Then what reason could Lion have to change masks? It's simple, really. He put on the Goat mask to pin the murder on him. That's what I'm thinking. They were working together. Unless Goat only knew the dungeon trick and nothing else. 'Tis the natural conclusion. Lion was plotting a ruse of his own against his partner. That's what I think too. While Goat gave him the alibi by pretending to be him in the dungeon, Lion took Goat's identity to commit murder. He was no lackey. He was the true mastermind all along. Okay, so. Okay, makes sense. So maybe lion being attacked wasn't trick after all. And I know how he got away too. Look at this. The lion guy was knocked out slightly below the window, which means it's possible the goat man escaped through the window after hitting the lion guy. But he fell into the water then. So is that really it? What if he was just hiding behind the door when Fox came in? And while Fox was checking on Lion, Goat just left. That works. Being great, I like where this is going. Leaving through the window or through the door both are perfectly possible at first glance. But after leaving the armory, what then? What did Goat do? He ran away because he wasn't in the castle. How? The guards didn't see anyone leaving through the front gate. And there weren't any footprints outside of the castle. See, it's not leaving the armory that's the problem. The real head scratcher here is how Goat managed to escape from the castle. That's the big question, the most important one yet. So let's hear your answer. How did Goat vanish the second time? This is what he used. It was a boat. He used the window to get out. But he used something else too, the boat. He must have left it floating near the armory. And to escape, he hopped onto it and rowed towards the dock. He tied the boat again to make it seem like it wasn't used, then he disappeared. How exactly did he disappear? Could you be a bit more specific? Remember, the police didn't find him in the castle. The main gate was guarded the whole time. And there weren't any footprints in the dirt surrounding the castle either. So even if Goat had done what you said, doesn't ultimately explain how he got away. The trick is something else entirely. Oh. How did Goat leave the castle without being seen and without leaving a trace? The armory. This is the dungeon. Are they saying the only way in and out is the front gate? Well, can't he just pretend to be a policeman? He never escaped. The police just didn't notice it was him. Goat used his master of deception once again. He disposed of the mask and took a new identity just like he had done before. Everyone got rid of their mask when the police arrived. People knew what Goat looked like behind his mask. So they would have recognized him. But what if he was pretending to be lying? They would never check him. Because he was hurt and would be rude to bother him? No, I think they probably checked. I was thinking he became a police officer, but... You're saying they would have recognized him. Maybe Fox helped him escape? But had only one accomplice. I see. Chainmail. Maybe he was hiding the chainmail. No. I need a hint. I'm confused. Goat couldn't have done it alone. Maybe he had Leopard help him? Leopard was Goatman's ally all along. What a twist. That was the only accomplice. Someone stole Leopard's master key, right? He used that to get out. That isn't either. They were guards at the main gate who claimed nobody left through them. And there are any other doors leading outside of the castle that would help Goat escape either. So you're saying Lion helped him? Lion helped somehow. He said he was trying to frame Goatman. Then how did he escape? That doesn't mean you're wrong. I'll let you on this. Lion has something to do with it. Goat wouldn't have been able to pull it off on his own. I think he was pretending to be Lion? Oh, that wouldn't work because then there would be two lions. What if he went back to the dungeon? Okay, so confused. How did Go leave the castle with being seen without leaving traces? What if you used the rope again? Grabbed the rope, spun it around and around, and climbed up. While everyone was busy looking for him, he was just up there giggling. Rope's not the only way to climb up. No, it's dark, so it's hard to see, but you can get up there using good old-fashioned doors and stairs. So while I love the idea the police would examine there as well. If he was hiding in the wardrobe? He was hiding in the armory? I'm really confused. Go wasn't found inside the castle, but there was no evidence of him leaving either. So where was he? How did he get there? There was no evidence of him leaving either. What if he is Leopard? No, but they would have known when they examined the body. What is in the water? Alright, but you need to clarify what you meant for me. What exactly was he doing? Someone threw him. If Goat didn't kill anyone, why would he even escape? Because Lion... Yeah, what if a lion killed him and threw him? He was framed. He should have stayed and cleared his name. Means Lion had to kill Goat. You just said it. Goatman talked to the cops. He tell them they switched places. So then wouldn't Lion have to kill Goat so he wouldn't spill the beans? But it looks like Lion got stabbed instead. Very mysterious. Let us try to reconstruct what happened. Perhaps it will lead us to the truth. The two men gather in the armory. Goat is distracted. And then betrayal. Lion pulls the knife and attacks. But Goat turns around and stops the knife with his mouth. He's like... I knew it all along. Lion's like, what? And they had a fight. There was no footprints outside because Goat didn't actually escape. The police didn't find him because they had something wrong. They thought he was alive, but he was deep underwater dead. That's what I was saying! That's what I was saying! Oh, what happened to this window? Come back. Come back, window. He had to hide the body because the lion wanted to frame Goat for everything. So he probably had a bag full of heavy things hidden somewhere. After killing Goat, he tied the bag to the body and then dumped it through the window. That's what I was thinking too. I'm getting good at this? You sure about that? I'm so confused. Sorry to cut the celebration short, but there's a little something you haven't explained yet. All intents and purposes, you've got the bad guy, but let's make sure we understand exactly how it happened. Alright? Let's start with this. When exactly did the killing take place? When group splits up. After the group splits up. After killing Go, you need some time to weigh down the body and do everything else. It must have been before Fox knocked on the door. If that's the case, what part of the crime scene doesn't seem to make sense? Lion's stab wound. The lion guy lied. He wasn't really attacked because Goat was dead by then. The fight the Fox lady heard behind the door was all fake. So the lion wasn't really attacked, then how was he stabbed? He stabbed himself, obviously! Oh crap, wrong answer. He stabbed himself. I picked the wrong answer, himself. He did it himself, it's a trick. How do you figure? Because it sounds like that's the answer. No. If Lion had been stabbed by Goat, he wouldn't be able to dump the body. His wound was deep and people are heavy, and he would have spilled blood everywhere. So he must have been okay while he was throwing the body, which means the only possible culprit for the stabbing was himself. Alright! This is where I wanted us to end up. Nobody could stab Lion but himself, but why would he even do that? Goat's body was already disposed of by the time Fox arrived, so why not simply open the door for her? Think about it, the reason we discovered what happened to Goat was because we investigated the armory, which only occurred because Lion got attacked there. Calling attention to the place where he killed someone minutes before doesn't sound very smart, does it? That means the Lion must have had a strong reason for fabricating this lie. That's the last rule of the night. Why did Lion stab himself? I see this mystery remaining seems difficult, but if we just think about it, the truth that the treacherous mastermind tried to sink into the ocean will have no choice but to float back to the surface. Got it. Simple. I know what it is. Because there's blood in the room. Guess what forced him to do it? There was blood all over the room. Come a long way to understanding everything that happened. Let's take it from the top. Starting with our villains. We had two this time around. Who were they? Lion and the Goat. This whole thing started when those two made a pact weeks before everything went down. You see, Lion had a bit of a gambling problem, was deep in debt. He reached out to Goat with a plan to swindle a couple of fools out of their money. So the night of the party came, the two men riled each other up, which is when Goat brought up the bet. Lion accepted immediately and managed to get a few more people into the ruse. Then everyone went down to the dungeon. The place was searched, but there was nothing to find. And just like that, Goat was stealed away. What did he do then? Grabbed Lion's clothes. They were tied up to a bag that was just outside of the window. And then he dressed up as the lion guy and put his own clothes into the bag so nobody could find them after that. And he played a little trick by putting the book and the candle in the last cell. Not really important. And after a little while, he screamed at the top of his lungs and hid. Then what? Everyone saw the candlelight from the last cell. They must have thought something bad happened to him because of the scream. So they ran all the way to the end. Everyone except for Lion. Lion was in on it. The whole trick was that Goat would pretend he was Lion. It was possible because they all wore masks and Goat had a talent for making voices. So they made the switch, right? The group arrived at the last cell one person short without realizing it, and while they were scared and confused, Goat sneakily appeared behind them, thus the ruse was completed. So Goat would keep up the charade for a bit longer as the group tried to find him in the dungeon, and once everyone gave up, Goat and Lion would switch places again and collect the money. Or at least that's what Goat thought would happen, but unbeknownst to him, Lion had plans of his own. He wanted money, but not the chump change he'd get with the little bear who was looking to get much more that night. I didn't bring it up because it didn't relate to how the crime occurred, but Leopard and Lion were uncle and nephew. Leopard didn't have any children to speak of, and Lion was the closest relative he had. So if Leopard died, Lion would inherit most of his estate. You should have brought this up way early! This is motive! This would have been key! This would have been key! So what Lion was really after when he made the pact with Goat was an ironclad alibi. After all, once the switch occurred, everyone would believe that Lion was there inspecting the dungeon with them, which meant the real Lion was free to do as he pleased without accountability. So he went up to the roof and pulled up the rope and bag containing Goat's clothes and changed into them. From that point onwards, everyone would see him as Goat. He then went to the party and took Leopard to a place where they would be alone. Everyone saw this, which was exactly what Lion wanted. The Lion didn't know how to make his voices dry. Wouldn't people know it was him? Only if they talked to him, but he only talked to Leopard. Then Leopard would have known. What if he did? In fact, that would explain why Leopard went along so easily, since he and Lion were related. But the thing is, it doesn't matter if he knew or he didn't, because of what happened right after. Lion killed Leopard, stole his key, and locked the door. Locking the door was just so nobody happened to find the body. After all, Lion still had things to do that night. He wanted to kill Goat too, right? Because he told people what really happened? So you waited for him in the armory. That he did. And why did Goat happen to be there as well? Was that a coincidence? They were going to exchange clothes there, weren't they? That's right. The dungeon trick was going to conclude with the two men meeting in the armory and trading costumes, which gave Lion the perfect opportunity to kill Goat before he realized that what was happening. Now, before committing any crimes, Lion exercised a bit of patience. He made sure to let Goat change out of the Lion costume and put his own clothes back on. Because if Goat's body ever floated back up, Lion didn't want any evidence linking back to him. So he waited until Goat put on his own clothes again, and Goat in turn placed the Lion disguise on the table. And then he was killed, just like Leopard was. Lion cleaned the knife and placed it on the table, then he barricaded the door so he wouldn't be interrupted. Very good idea, it turns out. He dragged the body beside the window, then took the bag that was hidden in a corner of a room. The bag was heavy. What was in there? The missing armor. Solid candidate, he could have used a few cannonballs as well. So Lion tied the bag to Goat's body and threw it out the window, letting it sink to the bottom of the moat. That's when something very unfortunate happened to our favorite criminal. What was that? The fox girl heard him make a ruckus, so she came back. Why was that a problem? I see it very clearly when I close my eyes. The villain just threw the body off the window. Someone knocks on the door. A familiar voice is heard. Lion looks around in a panic. There's blood on the ground on the table. The murder weapon shines in the moonlight. Time stops. What should he do? Should he wait in silence? Nay, he didn't know why someone was looking for him. Perhaps Leopard had been found already. The fox lady insisted on entering and finding him that stay would be quite incriminating. Then, should he grab everything and flee? But officers would surely notice the blood on the scene. With Goat still missing, the case could be too obvious. They would eventually find the body and most likely the truth. So what then? What should he do? Naturally, he should create another explanation for the blood in the room. He had made Goat villain already. Perhaps he could do it again. Time started ticking again. The Lion screamed and pretended to have a fight with himself for a fox to hear. He took the knife, went towards the window. Full of resolve, he stabbed himself. He threw the knife away from him and threw himself against the window. After all, an unconscious man wouldn't have to give any explanation for what happened with Goat. Blood dripped from his open wound, mixing with the blood of his own victim. And so Fox opened the door, time accelerated, people flashed by. And the truth lay hidden at the bottom of the sea. Until now. Mystery solved! That was a toughie. Only got a B. We're gonna have to come back and speedrun it for an S. Who's the best? We're the best. Criminals all over the world are coming to get ya. That's what I'm saying. I guess it's fine if you stay. I was going to anyway. What if you got stuck in a case and cried? Just cracked a tough case. You know what I do when that happens? Celebrate! My throat is so dry. Confetti! I want some confetti. Confetti ice cream. Pretty cool, huh? I bought a few of these for the occasion. Rookie mistake, Bo. You left the safety on. This is how you do it. There goes the confetti! Alright. We made it! We made it to the end! We solved all the crime! We were confused! I mean, I was confused. Maybe other people weren't confused, but I was confused most of the time. But it was fun! It was fun. It wasn't that much hand-holding, so I was very confused most of the time. I'm sure for others, this game wouldn't have taken this long. A solid 3 hours to finish the game. Well, technically it was more like 2 hours and like 30 minutes because I stopped in between. And I went and got a snack and I reran some of the game, some of the parts. This art is so cute. Brother and sister. I'm Ria. I hope you enjoyed playing Little Locked Room. Word of mouth is powerful, so if you know anyone who might like this game, I'd deeply appreciate it if you shared it with them. This has been my first experience trying to make a real game. I'm glad I managed to see it through to the end. But there's still so much I want to create. So many games that aren't going to make themselves. My sincerest hope is that with your help, they become a reality. Thanks for playing, and until next time! That was a fun little game! It was a fun little game! Hang on, I have to speedrun this one. For an S. For an S. I have to speedrun this one for an S before I can leave. If I don't get an S, did I even complete the game? Did I even complete the game if I don't get an S? Nobody knows. Alright, speedrun. Speedrun. How fast can I do this? Nobody knows. Why do I have to get an S? Because I said so. Yeah, it was a good game, Chris King. That was fun. That was real fun. I was bad at it. I was very confused most of the time. I needed a lot of help. I need a lot of help. But we solved the mystery in the end. Solved the mystery in the end. Almost done with the story. I enjoyed it more like this. Yeah, we haven't played a game like this for a while. I had a couple of indie devs reach out with some games they wanted me to play. So that's mostly what we've been doing for the last month. Because I do like supporting. Okay. I do like supporting indie devs. So when they reach out and they say, hey, can you play this game at this time? I'm like, okay. Oh shoot. How did go escape from the dungeon without being noticed? Oh no, I don't remember what we were supposed to choose for this. Oh shoot. He was in the dungeon the whole time. Oh, what did I choose for this? Oh no. Oh, I was gonna speedrun this, but I can't remember what I chose for this. Well, I thought you were going to end on time. I thought so too. Extra content? I can't remember what I chose when he escaped. After the group goes inside. Oh, this is a partial answer. Oh, I had to go to the armory. That's right. Lion's duplicate clothes. I think that's how I solved this one. Okay. Alright, correct answer. Okay. This is less about knowing solving the mystery, more about how much I remember now. Go was disguised a lion when the group was looking for him, how nobody knows him with 2 lions. Lion was out in the hallway. Sherry's very much better at this than Bowman is. I'm just saying. I know you really want to be a detective, Bowman, but I feel like your sister is better at this than you are. Speedrun, speedrun! I'm so good at this game. Y'all, I'm playing it for the first time! Don't even need to read the story to find out what happened. Don't even need to read the story. I just immediately know. With the glance at the screen, I know how the mystery unfolded. I'm so good, Muto, like you would not believe. I don't need to spend 3 hours finishing the game. I can finish in 10 minutes. Yeah, so good. Speedrun, speedrun. I don't even know why I'm doing this. I feel a need because I can to get all S's. It's like retaking a class in college for a better grade. Okay. 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 One leopard's murder was lion. Because that was the only one that makes sense. That part I figured out. Because there was no reason for Goat to plan leopard's murder. If he was gonna do that, he would have made himself another alibi and stop being the scapegoat. Oh my god, is that why he's the goat? It's because he's the scapegoat? Literally? Lol. Wow, I just got that. He's the goat because he's the scapegoat. He's the goat because he's the scapegoat. It was in the water. Dead. Okay. Alright. We're making a lot of progress, guys! We're making so much progress so quickly! You may all call me the queen of mystery games! Only have to play the game twice! I'm still gonna go get ice cream after this. My throat hurts. What doesn't make sense if a lion killed goat before fox? What doesn't make sense if a lion killed goat before fox knocked on the door? Lion stab. Oh shoot, I forgot. What doesn't make sense if lion killed goat before fox knocked on the door? Hello, Virgil. How's it going? We're speedrunning the end of this game. Because I insist on getting all perfect grade in this game. For some reason. Hope you did well in your finals. I'm sure you did. Just like I'm about to ace this game. He had to stab himself because of the blood. This I figured out pretty quickly. Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah. I'm so good at this, Dad. Should be a real detective. For real. Alright, almost done. Speed run. I'm really tired now. All of a sudden. I just want this to be over so I can go take a shower and go to sleep. At breakfast, and we'll study soon and go to uni in an hour. Good luck. Have fun. Finals good so far. I get cooked next Sunday. I'm sure you'll do great. I'm sure you will do great. Good luck. Alright, speed run. This is actually a cute little game. The story is quite nice too. I have some questions about the validity of some of the crimes, but that's okay. It's okay. Suspense of disbelief or whatever they call it. Whatever they call it. Whatever they call it. Never fail to be a ball of sunshine. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Well, it's because we're always playing games when I'm on stream, and I'm always happy when I play games. Even if they frustrate me, it's a nice, relaxing time for me. So I'm always having a good time here. Genius! That's right, guys. I'm a genius. I'm so good at this game. I'm so good at solving mysteries. That is so wow. Did not take me 3 hours at all! It would take 3 hours on this game. Not me. Alright! You did good. All clear. That was fun. That was fun. New block? Absolutely. Absolutely. There we go. Oh, man. The chat is being weird again, but that's okay. It'd be like that sometimes. It'd be like that sometimes. It'd be like that sometimes. I don't know why the chat on the capture is being weird. It's been doing that lately, but well, the stream's over, so I'm not gonna worry about that anymore. But yeah, that is it. That is it. That is Little Locked Rooms. Little Rock Rooms. That was actually a fun game. It was a really fun game. I think it was a good length. There's some great puzzles. So I hope you all had a good time watching me play the game, because I had a good time playing it. I'll be back on Wednesday with more Ori and the Will of the Wisps. Ori and the Will of the Wisps. I'm gonna get some ice cream now, because this game made me really want to eat ice cream. Thank you all so much for coming. I appreciate you all. I hope you had a good time. Stay chill, stay safe, stay cool. And I will see you guys in my next stream. Good night, and I'll see you next time. Bye, 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 bye.